You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Friday, October 8th virtual show. Because of COVID-19, our show is temporarily moved virtually. You can also listen to us on podcast or on air on Saturday at 3 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Sunday at 8 a.m. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
It is a great day to talk about money, and that is what the show is all about, how to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We're here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And now in studio, very excited, Stacy Heller of Stacy Connects. Gut level branding right here at 1150 AM KKNW. Stacy, I am just so thrilled to have you for the first time on our show. Thank you so much for visiting us.
Thank you for having me. I am excited to finally be here. And I have to say, Keelan, you were talking about how you didn't want to let your team down for soccer, but interestingly, you were still taking care of your mortgage team. So don't forget to give yourself props for that.
I love it.
Very, very true. And we appreciate that for sure. So a little bit about Stacy. Stacy Hellers of Stacy Connects does exactly what her business name states. Stacy connects people with themselves and their business and shows how ultimately both connect back to their brand. Stacy sees connections where most people don't. The most common connection is being their potential. She is creative, quick, and direct, and acts as a mirror for her clients. And I'm going to give a side note as your host, and knowing Stacy, she also has one of the best sense of humors that I've ever seen, and definitely a passion and a heart to serve in her community and serve others.
Thank you for that.
So let's talk about this, Stacy. What does it mean when you say gut level branding? I love that, by the way. It's like that gut check, right? I love that.
Well, and a lot of people get confused by the idea of gut, or if I were to say that I use my intuition or it's intuitive, people feel like that throws them or it feels not official enough. But with gut, we've all had it in business and in life. It's that thing that has us hiring somebody when maybe on paper they don't seem like the right employee, but something tells you that they are going to make a change in your business, or something that tells you to go with Highland Mortgage versus the other person, or something that makes you run back into the house, even though you're in the car and you've almost pulled out of the driveway and you realize you left the stove on. So gut is really important. And so I believe in my gut. And I also believe in connecting with my client's gut to see what is speaking to them. And if we do that, then the rest is actually much more simple than people realize.
Yeah, and that is so true. And it's a gift to be able to recognize your gut or intuition so that you can allow it to lead you through life and the decisions that you make. And it's an extra special gift to be and for them to be able to recognize and help other people recognize what their gut is telling them. And that's why what you do is so beautiful, Stacy, because you have that natural gift of understanding gut and intuition within yourself and reading it from other people. Now, as talking about that, when creating a business, you first need a concept, and the concept actually is getting created by your gut or your intuition, bringing that to the surface. So Stacy, your concept will direct you through the process in creating a successful business. So where does concept in your business come from?
So basically, what I find is that when I'm working with my clients, whether they are starting out or whether they are at whatever stage they're in, it's a matter of getting in touch with going back to the personal, because let's face it, most of us, whatever we do professionally and in our careers, we're doing it because of who we are personally. So when people think that you can separate personal and professional, I would disagree with that. And so often the choices that we make, how many doctors became doctors because maybe their favorite aunt had cancer and they want to be able to help that person. And so that's the first thing. The second thing, besides making sure that you connect with the personal side, is also making sure that you then connect with who you are. And if you're not somebody that is going to take full advantage of social media, then having a branding or a marketing person tell you that you need to do that, that is setting you up for something that you can't do. And so that concept of understanding who the person is personally, how it has influenced them professionally, how they can show up in an authentic way that makes sense for them, for their business, and then being creative about it and having fun with it and not taking everything so seriously.
So true, because business is personal. It's about your life, your passions, your experiences, and we're hearing from each one of you today and what you do, how that connects with it. And yeah, such great advice, Stacy.
Yeah, I like, you light up when you're passionate about something, like me in soccer. I talk about it. It sparks something inside of me, and it sparks things in other people. And when you're passionate about something, you love what you do. It's just a different level than just getting through and going through things, so just kind of getting by. That's not the way we want to do life. And I don't think that's the way you should be marketing either. So let me ask you, if you have a new client, are you focusing on personal or professional? Is there one more important that you start first, or how do you get through that?
So I start with the personal side because, as I said before, I think it's important to find out about the person, because especially if they're starting out with their business and maybe they don't even have a name of their business or a logo or, any kind of a brand sheet that tells them all of the colors. So talking about the personal piece, suddenly you can start talking about what are the things, I like to say, that make your tail wag. A dog's tail just wags spontaneously because they're happy or because there's something. It reminds me of when someone places a dessert in front of me, my inner tail wags. It just makes me happy. And so therefore, what are the colors that make you happy? What are the things that make sense? What can roll off your tongue? And so it has to start with the personal. And your client may not know what those layers of meaning are when you ultimately land on your color and your brand board or your font or even your business name, but you know what all of those layers mean. And if somebody is lucky enough to get close enough, then you will peel back those layers and invite them in and share what it means.
Yeah, because those layers are easily peeled back when it's a part of your passion and everything that you're a part of through your branding. So Stacy, you do an amazing work with your clients, and that's why I was so happy to have you here to share. And I've seen it firsthand. What types of things do you work with your clients, and what do you help them work on?
So I am, I don't think this is in the dictionary, but it's a mishigash of things that I do. It's an interesting place to be in. So people are always trying to get me to define and explain what I do. And they'll say, oh, so you're a graphic designer. No, I'm not, but I can create logos. Oh, you're a content writer or an editor. No, but I can write and I can edit. Or, oh, you're an interior decorator. No, but I can help you find ways to have your space speak to your brand. If you're if you're a financial planner, for instance, you shouldn't have fake plants, because if you can't grow a plant, how are you going to grow my fortune? And so you need to think about those subtle little things. So when I say that I hold a mirror up to my clients, what I do depends on what my clients need me to do.
I love that. If you can't grow a plant, how are you going to grow my fortune?
It's a thing.
I love that. It details, right? It matters. Where do you put your care? And obviously they need attention to detail if they're taking care of your money. So I love that. That's fantastic. So how do you know what your clients need, Stacy?
That is through conversation. And that's where my intuition comes in. And, you were talking about, Keelan, this idea of you use soccer a lot when you talk about your passion and you talk about things. Well, what I have learned is that when I get information or a gut feeling, it is a very direct hit. It's almost like a download. And when you get that kind of information, then through that conversation, I'm getting the things that my clients need to focus on, potential that they need to consider, things that I'm able to say to them, because I like to joke that I have always thought when I was younger that, oh my gosh, I'm so brilliant. Well, I have learned now that I am actually not that brilliant, but I am very articulate. And so given a message like that, I can be direct and I can deliver it in a way that speaks to the language of my client's heart. And so having that conversation, using my gut, using my intuition, that's really where I start through that conversation. And I'm able to ferret out things from my clients and get a sense of what they need, what their potential is. Because in the same way that we look in the mirror in the morning and we maybe see cankles or we see wrinkles, when it comes to looking at yourself in your business mirror or your career mirror, you look at, I'm terrible about doing my invoices, or, I'm late on my marketing, or I'm not posting enough, or whatever it is. You always lead with the weakness. So it's my job to hold up the mirror and show what's possible and where there's potential.
Yeah. And I always say, Stacy, none of us are brilliant. The brilliance is being motivated, inspired by others, and then making it our own so we can share it with others. So your brilliance is being able to draw that out of people so they can share their natural gifts. So Stacy, as we're wrapping up our time here, because we have less than a minute, I'd like to ask you, you just, in the questions we had for you, what is something that you want to share or answer as we're wrapping up our time?
I just think that what everybody needs to understand, wherever you are in your personal or your professional brand, don't overcomplicate it. Go back to a picture of you when you were in second grade. How did you look? What did you dream about? Life was simple then. You wanted to climb the tree. You wanted to get some boy or girl to pay attention to you. You wanted the cutest look or the whatever it is that you wanted. It was pretty simple, and you just went and got it. And you were unobstructed by that voice that told you that you can't. So at the end of the day, the advice that I give to people is don't complicate it. Go back to basics and follow your own gut.
Beautiful. And what a great way to end our time together. And I forgot to let our listeners know that you are actually also a cheerleader for others and bringing that magic out of them. So Stacy, again, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And coming up next in the Money Hour, Journey with Lei Wang of Why You Need a Coach is our conversation with her right here on 1150 AM KKNW.